I selected the picture book Creepy Carrots to really take a closer look at. It's written by Aaron Reynolds, and the pictures are by Peter Brown. One of the things that really struck me about this text is the limited use of color. Really, all that this illustrator uses are blacks and whites and grays, and then the orange in there. So, in doing a little bit of research about picture books, I'm going to focus on color theory. These are words that explain ideas related to color. And I've taken time to kind of read through and see what really applies to what Peter Brown used. I find the term gradation, or that transition of light to dark or dark to light on a tonal scale, seems to fit because there are pages where the colors use is very, very dark and then very light. The intensity or the brightness or the pureness of a color, I think that really fits in with the use of orange. I found monochromatic, which is a color scheme involving the use of only one hue that can vary in value and intensity. And then when I go back to hue, it's the exact shade or tint of a color. So I think that the illustrations are very monochromatic with the black, the gray, their shades or tints, and a lot of hues that are being used. I move on to the idea of shade, a pure color to which black has been added, and I seem to notice that the orange is, in my opinion, shaded. So these are some of the words about color theory that can help me really analyze Peter Brown's illustrations. The other area that I can research a little bit more is the book's format. Taking a look at some of these various features. For example, I can examine the book jacket. I can examine the end papers of the book. I can look at the overall layout and design. I can also examine title pages. Finally, I can move on to illustration, and I can notice that terms such as focal point, because the carrots draw in my eye. I can notice that the panels in the book create an effect, particularly as the illustrator creates pieces of events and information that the writer doesn't include. So for this book, I'm doing color theory, format, and illustration. So now that I've really looked at the illustrations in Creepy Carrots, I'd like to learn a little bit more about the illustrator Peter Brown himself. I went to the picture book website and went to authors and illustrators. Here in the A to B, Peter Brown isn't referenced, so I'm going to need to search him on my own. I'm going to use the keywords Peter Brown Illustrator because by adding illustrator, it's going to refine my results quite a bit. Now, when I do a Google search, my information sorted by the number of times a page contains the keywords that I've used. I also have other links that come up in my search that are similar to. My search results will include the title of my site, the URL of my site, a snippet of text from my site to help me make the decision, as well as links to similar pages. Now I can check websites, I can check images, I can use an option for videos. In this case, it looks like I can actually watch the author himself. Or I can even go to more. In this case, books. So, Peter Brown Studios looking like a great place for me to start. I'm even guessing that this is a site that Peter is maintaining himself. So, when you're searching for your author or illustrator, be sure to look for sites that you feel are the most trusted. Often, there are others that can dedicate a site to someone, but it may not necessarily be the author himself. Take, for example, this here. This looks like this is someone else sharing information about this author. So always try to find a site that you feel is the most reliable for your needs.